Everyone is asking the same question. Are we in an AI bubble? You see stocks soaring, headlines screaming, and it feels just like the dot-com crash in 2000. It feels like a party that's about to end, badly. But what if I told you that asking if this is a bubble is completely missing the point, and that the people who understand the real question are the ones who will build fortunes, while everyone else gets wiped out? You've probably felt this uncertainty yourself. You see a company like Nvidia add $1 trillion in value, and part of you thinks, this is insane. But another part of you feels that this time it's different. You feel that paralysis. Do you invest? Do you stay out? It feels like a gamble either way, because the rules we were taught about the market just don't seem to apply. This confusion exists because we're all asking a simple binary yes or no question, when the truth is far more complex. It's not about if it's a bubble, it's about what kind. So that brings us to our central question, the mystery we are going to solve together today. If is it a bubble is the wrong question. What is the one thing that separates the bubbles that create billionaires from the ones that create total financial ruin? The answer to this question changes how you see everything, not just AI, but all of history and your own financial future. We're going to break it down piece by piece. If you're ready to see the world differently, do me a quick favor and subscribe before we proceed further. It helps us keep making these deep dives. Alright, so to find our answer, we have to start by looking at the last great bubble that everyone is so afraid of, the dot-com crash of 2000. When I say dot-com bubble, what do you picture? You picture failure, right? You picture pets.com, you picture Webvan, companies that burned through billions of dollars in investor money and then disappeared, leaving everyone who believed in them with absolutely nothing. It's the ultimate cautionary tale. And because of this, the common advice, the false solution that everyone learns, is that bubbles are just a mania. They are a form of mass insanity, a time of pure greed and speculation that always ends in destruction. The lesson we're taught is simple. See a bubble, run the other way. But here is the truth. That's a dangerously incomplete story. We've all been remembering the failures, but we've been forgetting the purpose. Yes, hundreds of weak, silly companies died, but the bubble itself? It wasn't just a mania. It was a mechanism. It was the market's way of forcing an insane amount of money, over $1 trillion, into building the foundation for the next 30 years of civilization. That bubble, that mania, funded the creation of the thousands of miles of fiber optic cables that the entire modern internet runs on. It built the server infrastructure. It built the online payment gateways. The weak companies like pets.com were the scaffolding. They were the public excuse to build the skyscraper. When the bubble burst, all the scaffolding was cleared away. But the building remained. And that building, the internet's railroads, was then used by the real companies like Google, Amazon, and Facebook to build the next $10 trillion in value. This wasn't a destructive bubble. This was a productive bubble. It was a failure. That changed the world. So that's our first critical clue. A productive bubble leaves behind a permanent, valuable infrastructure. But this immediately raises a new, much darker question. If that's a good bubble, what does a bad one look like? How do you tell the difference before it's too late? To answer that, we have to go back further. We have to look at the most famous and the most ridiculous bubble of all time. I'm talking, of course, about Tulip Mania in 17th century Holland. It's the story everyone knows. At its peak, people were apparently trading their homes and their life savings for a single flower bulb. Prices went to the moon. It was a classic, purebred mania. And then, in 1637, the market collapsed. Instantly, fortunes were evaporated overnight. It was a financial catastrophe. Now, most people look at Tulip Mania and the dot-com bubble and they say, see, they're the same thing. A flower, a website, it's all just greed. They see the pattern of prices going up and prices going down, and they stop there. But they are fundamentally, critically different. And the difference is in the answer to one simple question. What did it leave behind? When the dot-com bubble burst, America was left with the most advanced telecommunications grid on Earth. When Tulip Mania burst, what was left? Nothing. Just worthless, rotting flower bulbs. There was no new technology. There was no new infrastructure. It was pure, untethered speculation. It built nothing. It changed nothing. It was a destructive bubble. This is the second and most important piece of our puzzle. A destructive bubble is a black hole for capital. Money goes in, and it never comes out. But a productive bubble is a chaotic engine for building. One is a dead end. The other is a messy, painful, but necessary birth. And that changes everything. Because it means the fear and the excitement we all feel right now about AI isn't wrong. It's just pointed at the wrong target. This finally brings us to today. We now have a checklist. We have the dot-com test and the tulip test. So let's look at the AI boom. Which one does it really look like? So, how do we diagnose the AI bubble? Most people are just looking at the surface. They look at the price of AI stocks and say, that's a bubble. They see thousands of small AI apps that just put a new face on ChatGPT and they say, that's just like pets.com. And they aren't wrong. But again, they are only seeing the scaffolding. The false solution is to get lost in these small, weak companies. It's to argue about whether some tiny AI startup will survive. This is missing the forest for the trees. It's like trying to predict the future of the internet by only looking at pets.com. But here is the truth, we have to look underneath those apps. Where is the $1 trillion actually going? Is it just funding marketing budgets? Or is it building railroads? The AI boom today shows all the classic symptoms of a productive bubble. The mania isn't just funding speculative apps. It is forcing a monumental, species-level investment into tangible foundational infrastructure. The money is being poured into building massive city-sized data centers. It's funding the most complex supply chain on Earth to create custom silicon, the AI chips that are really just the engines of this new world. It's funding the creation of the foundational AI models themselves, which cost billions of dollars to train. No single government, no committee, no single smart investor could ever justify this level of spending. The only force in the universe powerful enough to coordinate an investment this big, this fast, is a bubble. It is the market's mania that is solving a $1 trillion coordination problem, and it's building the foundation for the next 50 years. So, what does this all mean? We've talked about the dot-com crash and how it was a productive bubble that left us the railroads of the internet. We've talked about Tulip Mania, a destructive bubble that was pure speculation and left behind nothing. And we've seen how the AI boom today, with its massive spending on data centers and chips, is following the exact same script as the dot-com boom. It's building infrastructure. Now, we can finally understand the answer to our central question. The one thing that separates the bubbles that create billionaires from the ones that create financial ruin is what they leave behind. So in the end, it was never about if we're in a bubble. We are. The real secret is identifying its type. Destructive bubbles are just gambling, but productive bubbles, like the dot-com boom and the AI boom today, are a critical, if chaotic, part of economic evolution. They are the market's way of forcing a massive, society-wide overinvestment into a new technology's foundation. The 2000 crash gave us the internet as we know it. The coming AI crash will give us intelligence itself. The mistake, then, isn't being in the bubble. The mistake is betting on the weak companies instead of the infrastructure they're all being forced to build. If you've watched this far, it means you're not like most people. Most people clicked away in the first minute, looking for a simple yes or no answer. But you stayed. You stayed because you're willing to look deeper. You now see the AI boom not as a simple, scary mania, but as a complex, powerful, and productive process. You no longer have to ask, is this a bubble? You can now ask the right question. What infrastructure is this bubble building, and who is building it? You've broken the pattern of fear, and in a world of chaos, that new perspective is the single most valuable asset you can have.